Have you ever asked yourself why you react in a certain way to specific situations that create an internal conflict in you? When we are little, from birth up to 7 years, we are like sponges. We absorb every information and we integrate it. And this happens with emotional wounds too, that are created in different moments of the childhood and bring us to react in defense of our ego, hiding the wound behind a mask. I'm Flavia Baldasseroni, holistic therapist and reconnective guide, founder of Flavia's Mind, and today I accompany you to discover which are the 5 main emotional wounds and how to soothe them. Let's begin saying that the emotional wounds are usually created in the family, because when we are this little, the family is the first place where we interact, so it can be the first place where we can go and create damage. Let's go and see which these wounds are. Let's begin with the rejection. Rejection is a wound that generates between conception and the first year of life. And it's generated from the parent of the same sex. It is, for example, when there is an unwanted birth, or the mother has a postpartum depression, things like this. The biggest fear of the person with this wound is to not be liked, that people won't like them, and the mask they put on is to run away. They believe they have no value, they are not enough, and they create runaway strategies when things get to be too much for them, when they believe they are not going to be accepted from others. They are very alone. You can see them always being in a corner alone, because they don't want to feel this rejection from others. And they are very perfectionists, and they do it because they think that being perfectionist will bring them love, and so they are not under the possibility of receiving criticisms. And these emotional wounds is associated a lot of time with injustice too. What are the benefits of leaving this wound behind? You will not have to be this perfectionist. You can relax and enjoy life, and enjoying living in the present moment, and being more authentic, because when we change our ways to appease other people, we leave behind our authenticity, so we can finally go back and take our true self out. The next wand is abandon. The abandon is generated from between the first and the third year of life, and it's generated from the parent of the opposite sex, and it happens when they are not supported by the parent, where there is no affection between the parent and the child, or there is not this parental connection. The fear that comes here is the loneliness, and the mask that we put on when we have this wand is dependency. So the person becomes very dependent. They look for the support of others around them. They always try to generate attention, to take all the attentions in the room, and they live in the past. They are always reminiscing things about the past, and they use empathy with other people to bring them to believe all the things they say, no? They were like, oh, I'm a poor soul because I lived this throughout my life, and now I have to, and I can't do, and all these kind of things, no? To generate this empathetic connection that they didn't have from the parent. The benefit of not living with abandonment is that you don't have to be liked by everyone. You can be yourself, you can say whatever you want and feel good doing it. And you can take more decisions and be more independent. You won't need to look for the approval of others anymore. Now let's talk about the humiliation. This is the only wand that is not necessarily going to occur to a person. The others will always appear in our life in a stronger ways, in a more lighter way, but they are always being there, while humiliation not. The humiliation develops from the first and the third year of life, and it doesn't matter which parent it comes from, but it's related with repressive attitude from the parent, or shame and being ridiculized, feeling ashamed for not being enough, for not doing the things right. And the mask we put on when we have this kind of wand is the masochist one. So the person with this wand lives for others. It puts the needs of the other person before his own. And they fear the feeling of freedom because it would mean enjoying the good of the senses, no? Enjoying what comes from our sensation and our emotions. And they could have had problems with sexuality both in childhood and in adolescence. And the benefits of not having this wand is absolutely that they can finally think about themselves and take care of themselves instead of others. They will not be ashamed anymore of expressing their true essence and live by their own rules. Let's talk about betrayal. Betrayal is generated between the 2 and 4 years of the child from the father of the opposite sex. It's generated because their attention needs were not reached, or the promises were not accomplished, so the child loses faith, loses trust in the parents before and everyone after. They are very untrustworthy to other people, and the fear they have is not having control and that they can be rejected, and the mask they put on is the controller one. They want to have everything organized. They are very persuasive people and want to convince the others that what they are saying is the right thing, and they have a very strong personality. They always want to win. They are very competitive and don't admit errors in the process. They can have aggressive behaviors, reactive behaviors in a lot of situations. This one relates with the abandonment. What are the benefits of not living with this wand? They will be finally able to help others and leave others help them. They will be more near to others, more empathetic, more patient and reflexive, and they can become an example for others. Injustice. Let's talk about injustice. It develops between the 4 and 6 years from the parent of the same sex. There is a lot of coldness coming from the parent. The fear here is to lose control, to be criticized, and commit errors. And the mask the person puts on is the rigid one, the stiffness mask. They want to be alive, dynamics, full of life, but in reality the majority of time they are completely void. They have no energies at all, and they don't want to admit that they have problems when they have, and they try to give away an image of always being okay, everything's always fine, even when it's not like this. They work very hard, they are workaholic, and they hate people that don't want to put effort in what they do. A very important thing is that they consider the intellectual part more important of the emotional one. So they are all rationality and no emotions at all. And it's related with rejection. What are the benefits of not living with injustice? They can finally allow other people to love them. They don't need to be perfectionists anymore. They can look for the simple things in life, and they can give themselves the joy of feeling emotions. So now you would be telling me, okay, now that I know which the 5 main emotional ones are, what can I do with them? Let's go and try to heal them. There will be time to go in detail in how to heal emotional wounds, but right now just take the few steps you need to do and try to work on them. First one, reducing our ego. The ego is the one that creates the mask to protect itself. So if we can reduce our ego, we can finally enter in the wounds and connect with it. Then we need to recognize the wounds, so see when it activates, when the mask appears, being conscious that we are not our mask, that we are a person, and that the mask only serves us to not feel pain, but instead it is preventing us from living the life we really want to live. And in the end comes the forgiving part. We are going to forgive. We make ourselves conscious and responsible for having had this kind of reaction that created wand about the situation that created it. And once we take responsibility for the creation of this wand, we can finally reconciliate with our wand, with ourselves, and with the person that created it. That's all for today's episode. I hope it's helpful to understand some of your behaviors and to begin to work to free yourself of them. We'll talk again next week, and remember, turn on your light, acknowledge your wands, and follow the paths of the soul.